Paul Warren.
And I'm Ryan Klein.
And this is another episode of SEO is Dead and Other Lies. Ryan, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, Paul. I'm doing really
Hi.
well. Really glad we can be talking this evening, April 17th, 2019, 7:48 p.m. We were just getting our Zoom set up because we're testing some things as far as podcasting remotely here and there, and we're going to give this one a shot. So we have a great topic tonight. It's one we've been deliberating what we're going to be talking about, and we're going to go back and forth. But I think this is something a lot of people will be interested in. And what's the topic, Paul? Or am I off?
Why don't you run us through what our topic is here, bud?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that's kind of a recurring thing, especially talking to other SEOs and consultants and small businesses. And it's basically situations where you're a business owner and you know you want to do SEO, you know you have to do marketing, but you either don't have any time, you don't got that much money, you don't got either one, you know that it's important, and you want to get something rolling, you don't really know where to start. What we're going to do today is we're going to guide you through some scenarios, pretty much help you pinpoint the things that you should be focused on and how you can get most bang for your buck, I guess, on different things, different approaches to make sure you have something in place. You're doing something, you're being proactive, but you're not, shelling out tons of money at once if you absolutely just don't have the budget. So where do we begin?
Well, so I have ideas and answers about this that I like to talk about from doing this in-house.
Cool.
Because in a sense, when you do marketing inside of a company, a lot of companies have the idea that you're a service provider, and your client is other areas of that company. So I do sort of have an opinion on this, but I think for someone that deals with this every day, especially with clients that have limited budgets, why don't you kind of break down exactly how you deal with this?
Sure. So if you come to me and you don't have a big budget, I respectfully say I can't work with you, and that's the end of our conversation.
Okay. So thanks for listening tonight, guys.
No, let's do a hypothetical. Think about working with agencies, and we can spitball numbers and go back and forth with that. But if a person is a business owner and immediately they're saying, "I want to work with an agency," it may not always be a good fit, especially if you have some time to do stuff on your own. So, what's partnering with an agency kind of look like? Typically, it's going to be what kind of industry you're in. So you can imagine the more competitive your industry, the more likely it is that it's going to cost money to work with someone. So someone going to an agency that specializes in doing stuff for lawn care and plumbing might not be paying as much as someone that's going to go look for someone that's a professional with lawyers. And that has to do with not because of anything with professionalism. Typically, it's just really just competition and really the cost to be competitive with those industries. So let's just do hypothetical because this is going to be contingent on a lot of numbers. Illegal marketing agencies, ones that are good, you might be in the thousands, and then ones that are a little bit more catered to some of the smaller businesses, might be in the hundreds. I would say I don't really have like a good rule of thumb for like X equals Y. But I would say that if you want to work with like a pretty good agency nowadays, I can't imagine it's going to be really less than like $500 a month. What do you think, Paul? And these numbers are all over the place, but I prefer to share some numbers if I can.
Yeah, I think 500 is at the lower end of what you would pay monthly to a reputable agency. You could pay more than that for people that don't know what they're doing at all. So you'd have to be, it almost have to be like a sweetheart deal just because there's so many clients out there for people that actually know what they're doing. They're going to pay you more than $500 a month. So I think it's like, that's really, really at like
Yeah, that's at the lower end. My internet connection's unstable. Hey, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I said my internet crapped out for a second. Wonderful.
Good thing we're doing this through online channels, right?
Yeah, my internet's pretty reliable, but I didn't lose you for too long. So yeah, where you're saying 500. You got to think about what goes into a pretty decent agency. You're going to have people that organize your account. You're going to have like an account manager. You're going to have people that strategize. You're going to have people that do the work on the account. I mean, you're going to have multiple people simultaneously working on it, plus their tools, plus overhead. So like anyone that's pretty decent, I mean, they can't afford to work with people less than that, really. If they're a good agency, there are going to be a lot of people working on your account. So if you're already listening here saying, oh my God, I don't have $500 a month to do this, that's fine. That's why we're talking about this. So let's say that's like our first threshold. Where do you go after that? Let's say I absolutely, no matter what, I don't have 500, but I want this to, this to work. I want to do something. What would be your recommendation at that point, Paul?
Oh man, you'd have to work out some kind of sweetheart deal, and you have to be really, really specific on what you're getting. So I don't know how much. It would maybe just like blogging or something. Like it would have to be like a really bare bones type of service that you're getting. So even if we're talking about like link building, you're gonna get really bottom of the barrel links for under 500 a month. Just stuff that like someone could do for $10 like at one time,
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like it's just not in your benefit to do it on such a small budget. Like if the links that you could get for $1,000 are a lot higher quality and are going to do a lot more than something that you get for like $500. And that's just like the reality of it. So it's almost like that's like the range where it's just like nothing is really like being done to the level that you would want it to be for $500. So it's almost like when you buy hosting for like a website and you start with like the entry level package, it's like never good enough to really get you like what you need, and like stuff always like doesn't work out with that. So you guys will just like go to the next level if you can,
Yeah, I think ultimately, we're not going to go into the whole like debate about like in-house versus an agency. We're just going to stick into, if you don't hire this person. But I think it's definitely one of those situations where I wouldn't try to, unless it's like friends or family, when you start trying to like get agencies to move down, a lot of agencies, especially the more respectable ones, I'm not really just speaking on my behalf personally, like I'm talking about like I know a lot of people that own agencies. So when you start like going down, it's like, oh, come on, can you do it for this? Can you do it for less? A lot of good agencies, they know what they're worth. They're not like making this number up. They're not just doing it just because they pulled the number out of nowhere.
Yeah, it also it devalues them too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I do this for less. What else am I going to do for less? Am I going to do other clients for less? Oh, they found out about that I did this guy's.
Yeah, don't
like less.
Don't negotiate with like agencies. It's kind of like my bottom line, because you're always going to kind of like get off on kind of the wrong foot, because the mentality they can't, most agency owners can't really help it. Well, the good ones won't budge on price anyway, because it's kind of like that's their value and that's what it is. Take it or leave it. But the ones where for some reason they like, fine, well, I'll drop the price like $200-$300 a month. That's always going to like translate to whatever they're working on. So it's just like, if that's what it is, that's kind of what it is. And if you don't want to like pay $1,000 a month for an agency, then you're gonna have to kind of opt for other.
But you can listen to this podcast and you can learn all of these things that you can do on your own from it, and you won't need an agency. You'll be able to be your own agency.
Oh yeah, exactly. The whole point of this is setting up for you to steal all my clients and steal Paul's job. That's actually what the whole purpose
make me unemployed.
Make me unemployed.
Even if you're really, really great at like SEO, there's so much stuff to do that there's never been a place that I've worked internally as an SEO, so not for an agency, right, where we haven't used outside agencies to do some other additional work that we needed. There's just always stuff to be done. So even if you know how to do all the stuff in yourself, honestly, like the more that you learn about it, the more that you do know, the more you're going to realize there's stuff that like you don't want to spend your time doing. And it's better to use like an agency for it.
Oh, I agree. Like supplemental, I would kind of stay clear of agencies that say they do everything. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but if you go to an agency and you're saying, hey man, I'd love to have everything in one place. And they're like, cool, we'll design a website. We'll do all their social. We'll do the paid social, organic. We'll do all your SEO. We'll do all your blogging. We'll do your reputation management.
Most are not good at everything.
No, there's no way. And even we're slimming down like what we service, because while we are very good at a lot of things, I don't think that we're good enough at.
It's sort of like strength finders. You want to put a lot more effort into things that you're going to get more returns out of.
So yeah. Do Indian agencies ever work? Should we hire one to be able to do a podcast on our experience? Oh my God. I have such a great idea, Paul.
Okay.
I don't get too sidetracked, but let's build a website and let's hire an Indian agency and see what happens.
And just see what happens from it.
Yeah, like
As an experiment.
Let's just like see what it's like.
You mean like the spam emails you get about like SEO? Like hire them and just see what happens?
Yeah, let's just do it.
You know what? I really, really like that idea. And I think we should do it for real.
We're going to do it tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back from my emails. I'm going to find where it's like, I did a search for you and you were the 7th page. They didn't do the search. They don't even know what keyword. They don't mention the keyword. I'm going to respond.
I think we should test like 5 different ones from different like Indian pitches that we get.
You want to do 5?
Yeah. We'll set up like 5 of the same website. Like 5 times. And we'll see who wins, you know?
Oh, that's such a good idea. Okay, guys, you heard it here first. So the reason I don't want to go on that tangent too much, but we want to talk about this kind of stuff because we've been, getting emails from hundreds, if not thousands. I'm not even exaggerating. Indians, Bangladesh, Philippines, you name it.
Over the lifetime that I've been doing this?
8-9 years.
I can't even count them.
Thousands. And we're going to respond. And you know how much they cost? They cost, what do you think, about $100 or $200 a month?
I bet you could negotiate it really low.
That's the thing, is that you can most certainly negotiate it.
Because even like $50 a month is a lot in that country.
Well, they're going to do a lot. And this is going to tie into ultimately what we're talking about, like what's the most important things you have to do. Always, top of mind is always going to be content and authority building and on-site. Like, those are, and then hopefully local. Am I missing anything? That's kind of all encompassing. But
yeah, I really, really, really like this idea actually, and I think we should do this afterwards.
Well, we are.
But let's stay on topic of this wonderful podcast, right? And that's stuff that you should not necessarily like put into your reporting or doing when you have a client that's on a limited budget.
Okay. So like I was saying, it doesn't matter if they're from India. It doesn't matter if they're right here. In the United States, no matter what, they're always going to be talking about content and link building and like on-site and a bunch of other stuff. So what's the bunch of other stuff and what matters and what doesn't? So I have a list here that we're both looking at. Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah.
Cool. So there's like a thing with, especially, and this is one thing that I've fallen kind of victim of, or I'm kind of like working on this personally, is offering a lot of great stuff to clients, just a list of just dozens and dozens of things that we can do. And we're kind of falling into what's called the 80-20 rule for it, where even though like this is all great stuff and all technically can have a positive impact, really only about 20% of the things that's on my list will do 80% of the positive impact. Do you know what I'm saying? And Paul, do you think you feel the same way about that?
Yeah.
I knew you'd agree with me there.
Why don't we should share this out in this podcast below in the description so people can check it out.
It's almost proprietary. All right, I'll think about it. But more than likely I will.
Yeah.
But so we're looking at a list, and in this particular list, there's probably like 50 things. And these are 50 things that, we offer clients. But ultimately, if I picked like 10 of these things would probably do majority of the impact or positive for SEO, visibility, traffic, rankings, all that stuff. So how do you want to tackle this? Because it's just like,
I would say, in my experience, right, and this really depends on like the type of client that you have. But often I deal with clients that really only care about bottom line, right? Like, did I have this amount of calls coming in? Did I make sales off those calls? Because most of the time, if you're talking to a small business owner, they're not really going to like care. I mean, they're going to care a little bit about keyword rankings. They're not going to care about backlinks because they don't really they just don't, right? It's not going to affect if they're getting, like, to their knowledge, that they're getting more money from their business. So when I have something like that, I keep it like very limited to like things that they can just physically see. Not even like that. Because if I'm like, hey, there's an article on this website that's talking about you and it's linking back to you, that's like great and all. But like to them, it doesn't really like resonate as like being important. So I'm just like, hey, your website had this many people coming to it. Your phone it rang this amount of times from this like source. So it's tying it directly back to like your efforts. And sometimes like that's all, maybe I'll give them a little bit of like a keyword ranking, like a review, like maybe like the top 10 things that they're ranking for. And obviously you want to rank them in the top 10 for like whatever their business is in that area or their business in general. But as far as like all the long tail stuff, a lot of the stuff that maybe blogs might be ranking for, like I don't even include that stuff. I just do that in my own analysis, and I give them like very, very bare bones information.
Yeah. You don't want to like overwhelm them with information, and it's interesting because we, our agency kind of likes having an approach where we like. Excuse me, I just burped, but we have an approach where we like to overwhelm them with like all the stuff that we're doing, and it's not fluff. I mean, you're looking at this list, right? And it's not like fluff. The problem is it's just stuff that isn't necessarily as important, even remotely as important as other stuff. So an example I have, right, is like adding alt tags with keywords to images. I don't give a crap. I just like, it's a thing that's, I would never say. The point of this conversation isn't like, oh, should I do it? Sure, you should do it. But should you do Google My Business optimization first? Yeah. Should you do a plagiarism check for an existing website that didn't realize they had 50 pages that were copied from the previous SEO company? Yeah. Like I think that's like kind of my point.
Yeah. So I guess the way that I would break it down, because you can always have more work to do with SEO, right? There's always stuff to do. Because then you're adding more content and you have to optimize that content and then you re-optimize old content. So it's constantly changing. There's always things to update. There's always like technical SEO things to update as well. But what you want to do is kind of going back to what you said earlier, Ryan. It's like content, on page, backlinks, right? Those are the three main things that are going to like move the needle. And if it's local, it's citations, right?
Yeah.
So you do the highest level things first that are going to move the needle, and then you focus on the things you're not going to spend every weekend like creating citations. Like at some point you're going to run out of local citations to add, right? And when that comes, then you can still provide a service of like, hey, I'm going to do like the alt tag for the keywords, like the images keywords and stuff. Like that's a perfectly good thing to do at like that point. And so maybe like a little bit of extra rankings and maybe one or two people click on that image and come to your site from it. Who knows, right? So it doesn't mean like don't do certain things, don't do optimizations that are best practices, but just don't do them first.
Agreed. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like a dilemma I think that we're going through, is because we have these massive what are called 30, 60, 90s, where we give people 3-month plans of what we're doing. There's a bunch of stuff on it, but really at the end of the day, our priority is like, are you a local business that can be on maps? What we really should be doing, and what we are doing now, and what a lot of people should do, is like, you want your crap on maps now. Like, you want on maps now. You want to be on maps right now. Like, I'm just saying that it just is one of the most important things you can do for a local. So what does that mean? That means figuring out how you're going to solicit reviews and get more reviews. It means building citations, like Paul said. It means going to Google My Business and maybe referencing a tutorial on what optimization looks like. It's just like now, not like later. And most of these things you can do, well, some of these things you can do on your own, and some of them you might have to find a vendor. Review generation, you can do it on your own, emailing people, calling people, doing whatever, or you can use a tool like a Gather Up or Bird Eye. Costs like $30, $50.
Let's break down, if you have a client, the top 5 things you need to do and do them in this order.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I just I guess it was the middle of the local one, but
let's do, if it's not a local client, and then let's just do if it's a local client, because 90% of the people listening are going to be doing local clients.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And
Yeah.
I mean, people have probably been listening by now are probably like, these guys don't really talk about e-commerce a lot. I'm sure that there's like separate specific e-commerce podcasts.
Maybe episodes to come. You don't know. We're gonna
I
we're
mean,
gonna
we
look
do.
into it.
I mean, we do more and more, and we can get guests. So just sit
Yeah.
tight. But yeah, let's just talk about local. You know,
Right.
small, medium, you could be huge. You could be multiple locations that you just did a bad job optimizing. But local, like you said, citations, a review strategy in place, going into the
All right.
optimizing.
Let's break it down in epic list form though.
What is epic list form? Do I just say it like in a different voice?
Should we do from first to fifth or fifth to first?
Oh, I mean, for me, I mean, one of the first things I do for everyone is really local, for a local service.
Right.
You
All
might
right. So
disagree.
number one, the first place you should start is Google My Business.
Okay.
Making sure that one, they have a Google My Business account. Two, that it's claimed, right? So this is all packaged in number one here.
Yeah.
That it has citations for that listing that are accurate. There aren't any NAP issues. You want to take care of all that stuff, do an audit right away.
Citations being like your Bright Local or your White Spark.
Yeah. Just, you know, what if you don't know what local citations are? I mean, we've talked about it on several episodes in the past, but you know, just Google local citation ecosystem. You're going to see exactly what we're talking about. They all kind of influence each other. So if some are incorrect, you're going to end up with a lot of big issues. You're not going to rank very well in those areas. But what's great about local SEO is sometimes you don't even have to have a website to show up in the maps. And
you love that. That's
right?
your favorite thing in the world.
Yeah. So make sure if you're a local business, number one, that your Google My Business is in good working order. Your NAP is updated across the board and it's accurate. And that's where I would absolutely start. And then after that, I would start with looking at the domain that you have. Probably do a little bit of like technical SEO on it.
You want to go into detail, or if we're going to get too far into each one, and then when there's 5, we'll be here for an hour and a half.
We can run through them really quick. So you want to make sure things like there's mobile, there's a mobile option for the site. I mean, not like an MDOT. I don't even know if people have a that even exists.
The mystery dot, like it existed for 10 minutes and everyone forgot about it.
You want to make sure there's a mobile experience that isn't terrible for the website.
Do you remember? Do you remember Due to Mobile? And I was like really into them for a bit, and then they just could not figure out how to like do the technical side of things and the SEO side, and they just like were just murdering. They just couldn't get it. And
but now everyone is just going to do like a dynamic website that adjusts depending on where you're looking at it from. So, you know, make sure you have something like that. Make sure you have HTTPS working for your website. Make sure the phone number works and the contact form on it works. You'd be surprised how many clients don't have a working contact us.
It's a part of our onboarding process. I've had people's phone numbers expire or just like.
It honestly happens all the time.
And then contact forms break all the time. I'd say every 10% of people have phone numbers they stop paying for on their website, and then about almost not half. I'd say almost like at least a quarter of people have broken contact forms.
Yeah,
it's that.
So if you do all this work and people come to the site and they don't fill out like a form, then you're not gonna get any of the credit for it. It's gonna be really frustrating when you have monthly calls to that person.
Yeah, so that's like on-site. So you just moved on from local to on-site?
Yeah, that's number 2. Number 1 is setting up, making sure local's good.
Oh, my bad. I didn't even know that you transitioned. Okay,
yeah.
So on-site, yeah. I mean, I completely agree. Usability and functionality is huge, and then people are crazy with the meta information that they have on websites. It's so bizarre, and how much it screws up the optimization of pages. You know,
something great about number 2 is that it's going to transition really well into number 3.
Ooh, now I'm excited.
So you want to make sure that you have really the right site architecture for your content. And so when I say that, I mean like, what's the URL structure for your site? How does the link flow past from like page to page based on like URLs that you have? depending on how big your site is, and right now I'm dealing with sites that are like, 50,000 plus pages. Like they're massive websites. They get over like 1 million, visits a month. So having a proper site architecture is very, very important. But even if you're a smaller site, it's something that you need to like figure out and have proper architecture just for tracking purposes, for reporting purposes. It's way easier to pull reports on the different types of content that you have if you have proper site architecture.
Well, can we do this real quick? For every section, since we still did pull in the fact that it has to do with people's budgets and how much they want to spend, for every step, can we talk about what your options are and how much it costs? So like number one, local. If you do it yourself, we're still going to tell you, like, no matter what, you can't skimp on some things or else it just won't work. So you're going to have to pay for citations. So what are some examples of like citation, like either like a monthly service or a package? And what would you do, Paul?
So on the high end is Yext, and we've talked about Yext several times.
F it. That's like 600 a year. I hate them. Let's not.
Don't do no, it's more than that. It's like 600 a month.
No,
it's like 500 a month. Yes, it is.
It's annual. Mm-hmm. No, look it up right now. That's not even possible.
Or 200 a month. Yeah,
that's possible, but that's like probably a different package.
That's if you're getting like their special sign up deal, and then they'll change it. They'll bump it up to 500 after a little bit.
Memory. Oh my gosh, they didn't even like have. Oh, I don't even see like their pricing breakdown.
So there's Yext, there's Bright Local, White Spark. Those two are much cheaper options. You're still paying a monthly fee. There's Moz Local, which used to be a one-time yearly fee of about $80, but they've now changed to like a monthly fee of, I think it's like $20. And now SEM Rush has gotten into the local game as well.
Oh, cool.
And they're around $20 per location for a business to create citations for you. You can do all those things. Unfortunately, there's some citations websites that they go through like a third-party data aggregate to even create them. So there's no telling how long it might take for them to actually be created. So you might want to use one of those services. You can always go on something like Legit or Conquer or Blackout Worlds or I don't know, what's that other forum? Warrior Forum.
I haven't been in there in about 5 years. Yeah, and real quick.
You can go in there and find someone to build them for you for pretty cheap. You get packages for like, $100, $50. They'll build you a bunch of citations based on how many you want for the price.
No matter what, citations are never at any point going to be something that you want to take over on your own to save money, because the amount of time will make you nauseous. So just don't do it. You're going to have to
pick off just doing it, just paying someone and or paying the monthly fee, because ultimately you can pass it on to your client, or if it's yourself, you're talking about $20 if you're a one location thing, like $20 a month really isn't that bad. I wouldn't get Yext unless you absolutely have to get Yext.
You don't have to get Yext. This is something that you're just going to do it, so just deal with it. And then for reviews, I'd suggest going with some sort of tool. It'll make your life so much easier. It doesn't matter how much free time you have. It's just, it would literally be, it just almost would never be worth anyone's time, because there's just too much out there.
Yeah. So for local, you want to be spending, like we said, $20 a month. Something like Bird Eye for reviews is how much a month again? It's
that one's it's kind of expensive. You could probably get away with something with Gather Up and get some. There's other ones out there, but altogether, I would expect to spend maybe like at least probably like $100 a month for like your local strategy. And then if you were to go with an agency that specializes in local, just local, that couldn't be any cheaper than, I think I've seen companies do for $350 a month.
Yeah,
one location.
So probably. I mean, if you didn't care about reviews, you could go with 20, but they're really important now. So I would budget for $100 a month.
Yeah, and then doing it yourself, or $350 and you don't touch it. Okay, sounds good. Or you can go on Upwork and find consultants that do local SEO, but I'm sure they'll be more pricey. So
going to technical SEO, this is one of the things where if you're not an expert, you're going to have to pay someone that is to tell you what to do and audit your website. So depending on the level of expert that you get, you can go to Upwork. You can find someone for about $50 an hour that will probably do a decent job. Mm-hmm. Maybe they spend about 3 hours like auditing your website. And what they're going to do is they're going to put it through a tool. It's going to tell you all the stuff that they need to, that you need to know. And then they're going to like take that information and put it in something digestible for you. as far as recommendations. So that's great now because it's going to tell you what you need to do. It's not going to really help you get a lot of the stuff done if you don't have the know-how for it, though. So, like it can be costly to have all of your technical SEO issues fixed or changed or just put in, set up for success to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with someone actually doing like an audit for you for like $200 and then giving you all the action items, and then you can read up on it like a little bit on how to execute on them, and then actually do it yourself. That one is probably like a cool project for someone that's like a business owner and wants to learn along the way. I'd say is like getting a good audit, and because it's going to be an overview of a lot of crucial aspects of SEO, and you're going to learn a lot, and you could save a lot of money.
But if you don't have the time for that, I would say don't expect to spend less than $1,000 on an audit and updating any of that stuff.
Yeah. And then also when you partner with an agency, this is kind of like their responsibility in the beginning of working together. So if you there are contracts that exist with SEO agencies from 3 to 12 to 24 months. I don't know, it's about 24, but it will be typically the responsibility to be doing this the first couple of months working together.
Yeah, and they also generally are responsible for making ongoing updates for changes to the algorithm, different types of content that can be marked up, different features that Google starts offering as time goes on.
So for on-site, like you said before, you're testing like kind of like the contact forms and phone numbers and some of the user experience stuff. And then the on-site is your typical meta information, keyword density, internal, external linking, H tags, whatnot. And, you can dabble in it when you get bored and then you hire someone else or you get too busy.
Yeah. All right. So then that leads us on to number 3.
Let's see if we agree on 3.
What?
Let's see what we agree on for 3. I don't even know what all 5 are. I thought there were 4.
Well, we're just doing the top. We're doing the top 5.
Well, we're probably going to agree that this must be link building at this point.
No, I was going to say on-page content.
Wait.
Because you can get links with content without trying to link build.
Oh, well, you're sounding very white hat right now.
And also,
this isn't the Paul that I normally know.
You can also use it on different things, different mediums like Facebook, right? You can share posts out there. You can get
but we're talking. Yeah, but we were starting to talk about things that actually matter, though.
Yeah, content does matter.
No, but like you're starting to talk about like someone writing a blog and then sharing it on their Facebook that has.
Even if no one ever reads a blog that you post, just having content that's related to what you're talking about is creating that much stronger of like a correlation with the algorithm that you're going to rank better for the larger keywords that you have, just by having supplemental like content about that.
Let's put it this way, like just so we can meet in the middle. If you have a website that has like no content on it right now, or you have no content strategy, content's super important for you right now. If you have a website where you actually have written about a bunch of stuff, I'm going to say link building would be something.
Yeah, but let's say you're starting from, it's a new website. They don't have content or links. So
go with the content.
These two can be done at the same time. So number 3, number 4, whatever, switch them around. That's fine. I would just do them together at the same time.
Okay. Let's just say that that content and link building are 3 and 4, and we're not prioritizing. Well, sure. We're not just going to say which one's important, but they're both a priority.
Yeah. So beginning on content, we'll tell you a little bit of what you should expect for good content and crappy content. So you always can write it yourself. That's fine. It's time consuming. You need to write a bare minimum of 500 words. I would even say 600 words. And
I'm almost at 800 for some pages. Yeah.
You need to read about Google's EAT guidelines, what they're looking into content. So if you're going to do it, you want to do it right to begin with. So, if you write like a really good article, you got really good resources in it. It's not spammy. It's not filled with like keywords. You're doing actual keyword research on your own to like figure out what you should be writing about. Even with all that, it could probably take you like, I don't know, an hour to 2 hours to write like that level of article, depending on how good of a writer you are. I'm not a good writer. I've never really written anything on a website. So I always outsource that. I mean, I do read through the content and I make updates to it and I enhance it, but I'm never the person that starts the article from scratch.
Yeah,
So
I think that for someone's kind of starting off, I think it's cool for them to write their own homepage, their own about, maybe like a couple blogs and some of the more important things. And then once you start like not knowing what direction to go in, that's when you have to make a decision.
yeah, and there's some content that you're just gonna want to write on your own, like that. Like you're not really gonna ask an agency or a random writer to write the about you,
Yeah,
because how are they gonna
exactly.
know that? Like you got to write that about yourself. So I definitely suggest doing that, and adding some personality to your site that is sort of like it explains like who you are, and gives people a feel for you. But getting to like actual blog articles or evergreen types of articles that just explain topics that people are looking up that's related to your business, like your business model or your niche. I always use Upwork to find good writers, and you're going to find a variety of writers and a variety of prices for those writers. So, something that's $75 an article is going to be at the higher end, the more professional level. Someone that has a lot of experience in whatever field that you're in or writing about that. And then you can get stuff as cheap as like $5 an article, but it's not going to necessarily be very good. It might not be from a native English speaker.
Yeah,
It might,
five is kind of nuts. What'll happen at five, which it'll be like it won't be native. Like it's so rare that it could be, or it's people that spin content and they just edit it to sound normal. It's just like five is just crazy. The cheapest content that is actually like okay is probably like Text Broker or something like along those lines. You could probably get articles for like 10 or 12 bucks. But it's
I wouldn't expect to spend, I would say $30 for a 500-word article is the lower range of like a respectable article.
for like something that's like this is good. Like
Yeah,
definitely.
you're probably gonna have to do some work to it yourself, but it'll be readable. Like people, it won't seem like it was written by someone that doesn't speak English or from some like a consonant spinner. So you wanna, I would budget closer maybe to like $40 an article, for like a quality article in the 500 to 600 word range, and just kind of go from there.
So what should they be writing about?
Well, you got to do the keyword research. So you can outsource keyword research if you'd like. People will give you topics that you can have articles written about, or you can do it yourself. If you outsource it, it's going to cost you. Honestly, this is a very cheap service to get. People just run it through some software and they tell you, "Oh, this is what your site is ranked. It's not. It's what it's not ranking for. This is what you should be ranking for. This is what your competitors are ranking for." And they're going to give you keywords that you can turn into topics. I mean, you can get like 50 for, I don't know, like $40. It's not very expensive. Like I said before, you can just Simplistic Conquer or even like Upwork and find someone that's going to do that work for you really cheap.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about content, it can be very daunting, but fortunately, there's just so many places to go for it, and there's such a wide range that you'll find something that you're comfortable with. I mean, you can get content, like I said, from Fiverr. You could people in your family that can write for a favor. You can write it
Yeah,
yourself.
your girlfriend can write it for you.
She
Your
can write it.
friends,
Yep.
great people.
Upwork, even Fiverr has all sorts of content opportunities. Like
Find a free intern to do it. I don't know.
get an
There's
intern.
a lot of things you can do.
You can steal it. You
You
can
can steal it.
probably
Put
listen
it
to
in
one
the
of our
spinner.
podcasts that talks about how we get a lot of content for blog networks.
Find websites that don't exist anymore and put it in
Yeah,
the Wayback Machine
there's
and take
there's
it.
just so much. There's so many ways to get content, and it's so easy to think outside the box. You can talk. You can sit there hanging out, drinking wine, doing dragon diction, and then get it recorded and then transcribe it. There's just
Or you can
content is
go
everywhere,
to Google Docs and turn on the record audio, and
which you
it'll
were
just
supposed to do, and
record
then
your
what
audio and
happened?
type it.
Cool. So yeah, this podcast is going on a bit, so we're gonna move
Oh,
through it a
okay.
little bit
All
more.
right. So we just have the fifth one left. So you gotta say what the fifth one
No,
is.
we didn't even talk about link building.
Oh crap! You're right. Okay, links. Yeah,
We got
you need them.
we got to graze over it because we do whole entire podcast dedicated that you can reference to.
Yeah, but you definitely want some links. Fortunately, citations that we talked about before, that's going to build some links for you, so you can kind of include that in there. But if you want some actual like good links, you're going to have to find opportunities. Depending on how black hat you want to get here, you can get link packages for like 20 for $120, $300. I wouldn't necessarily trust those anymore. Or you can find individual guest posting opportunities. But like a realistic budget for links for a small business a month. Oh man, it's that
I'd say like 50 to 100. You could probably do some good.
for 100. Yeah, you could probably
You're only going to get like a few, but that's okay.
you might get 3 or 4 from
Exactly.
100.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to build up over time. Like if you were spending,
But that's what you want to do kind of anyway.
yeah. So I would budget
Unless
more on the $100 side.
unless you're impatient and then you're like, oh, I want my SEO to get me leads tomorrow. And I'm like, wow, you're listening to the wrong podcast, my friend. That is not how you get business immediately. You're going to listen to our paid campaigns podcast. That's going to be right after this one, right, Paul?
Yeah.
Like right now. Okay. So what's 5? I don't know what 5 is. Is it social?
Yeah. I would say you want to start mixing in social to it.
Is that really what it was? Or you're like, oh, that sounds like a good 5?
Yeah, it sounds like a good 5.
No, I mean, it is. I mean, social is just so prevalent. I mean, everyone's on it. Having some sort of presence on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Or number 5 could be paid search.
Well, no.
You might not be paid
no,
to do
because
that.
that's social can. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? You might not be paid to do social either. So
Yeah.
we gotta just stick to just SEO things. So I would then probably say like schema markup.
The freaking Texans 2019 schedule just released.
Okay. Thank you.
We're playing the Saints on Monday night in week 1. That means that UCF and Texans can't happen. But not to get too sidetracked. Social, I've done a lot of studies that are like how important social is. It weird if companies don't engage in social at all? And people want to see you like posting here and there. I mean, I know that's not very technical or scientific, but being engaged in social will have benefits whether you can see them firsthand or not.
Yeah. So I mean, you really got to be doing some level of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. So
so there's your top 5 right there. We have Google My Business set up. We have on-page optimizations and technical SEO. We got content and links, or links and content, whatever way you want to do it. Just do them both together. And then we have social. And that should be your top 5 priorities worrying about. So
the interesting thing is this kind of circles all the way back, because life is just a big circle, like Matthew McConaughey once said, is that agencies are great for doing a lot of these things for you. So that's why agencies are so appealing, because when you work with them, they're going to be like, cool, I'm going to do your local, your on-site, your links, and your content. And then we don't want to get too crazy when they do social. I don't think that everyone can do like social too. That might be something better suited for a consultant or yourself. But that's what happens. They take over all those components. It's just a matter of how they prioritize those things. And then sometimes you could get a good freelancer that can do a lot, consultant, Upwork. But there's a lot. It's crazy digital marketing world out there. There's a lot of work. And sometimes not so bad. I have some people that are very good taking over multiple components that are super important. It's just that it costs money. Yeah. So, and then Ryan's going to share this document that shows you how he sort of prioritizes clients. We're going to make it, we're going to blur some stuff out, block through some things, but hopefully you can use it. Yeah, it'll be a blank sheet by the time I'm done with it. Yeah. No, that's fine. I don't know. Put in your information here and we'll just sell it. No, we're all about educating. I mean, it's one thing to see it. It's one other thing to execute and execute it correctly. So that's what we're here for. Tell you what's up and share the secrets and let you know how we got so gosh darn good at this. Well, anyway, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us and you found something useful out of this podcast. And stay tuned and subscribe because next week we're going to be talking about natural language generation. I got to prepare for that one. You do? Yeah. I thought we were casting on Friday. What you guys don't understand is like we come up with like lists of things that we're going to talk about. And then we end up just talking about whatever we want to at that moment. I know. Then I look at the list and I'm like, I don't want to do that though. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're the co-owner of a podcast, you kind of get your way, Ooh, co-owner of a podcast. That's one for the resume, my friend.
I was like talking to someone about our podcast, and they're like, "Can I be on it? Who do I have to ask?" And I was like, "You're talking to him. You're talking to the person because
And they're
it's
like,
only two people."
I'm so impressed. Oh yeah, I think I know what story you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm trying to trying to organize a podcast about webinars because webinars are fascinating to me. So hopefully that happens in the near future too.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, thanks for listening. We appreciate our listeners, and hit us up. At a lot of different places. We'll always respond. You can always send us a Gmail or an email to our Gmail, seoznothelies.com, at gmail.com, excuse me. And then you can always, reach out to us on Facebook or on YouTube. I don't think there's any way for us to talk to anyone on Spotify that I know of.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but that email or Facebook or YouTube, our channel will definitely respond to you and get back to you really quickly. So
cool. Thanks for the information. I'll be sure to do that.
Yeah. But once again, this has been another episode of SEO is Dead and Other Lies. And so I'm Paul Warren.
And I'm Ryan Klein.
You guys have a good night.
All right.
Bye.
Bye everyone.